Terrible people exist. They always have and they always will. It's in human nature to be imperfect, and some take that aspect to scarily unnerving levels. A sad part about this is sometimes these people are creatives, well-known or well-liked artists. Actors, directors, writers, producers, all veins of the entertainment industry are coursing with awful people. But then where does that leave the art? Separating the art from the artist is a decently long thought about concept. I mean, people as far back as Edgar Allan Poe, who was an alcoholic who married his first cousin at the age of 13 whilst he was 27 and he had only met her 6 years prior, could be considered wildly problematic. Now, I don't care what century you're from, that's a bit dodgy. But yet, the Raven is taught in schools across the world, and he's still one of the most celebrated writers of all time. To bring it to modern times, Harvey Weinstein, famous film producer and co-founder of the Weinstein Company, producer of many classics such as Scream, Good Will Hunting, Pulp Fiction, and everything you see here. Weinstein is a man of such filth that his outing as a sexual abuser kickstarted the #MeToo movement, which was so imperative to exposing so many creeps within Hollywood. Though the movement may have gotten misguided later down the line, the good that it did far outweighs the negative attention it brought itself in its more final days. But we must ask ourselves, when is it okay to separate the art from the artist? I was thinking about this more recently as Hogwarts Legacy is about to come out. Now, I know this is a film channel, but it ties in, so walk with me for a bit. Hogwarts Legacy is a game, obviously set within the Wizarding world, a game that's highly anticipated, but also highly criticised for being a Wizarding world product in the age of knowing J.K. Rowling as a raging transphobe. Now, there is plenty of nuance to this situation. One, J.K. Rowling was not involved with the creation of this game in any way, and a lot of the people that were involved are great people and deserve to be recognised for their great work. However, she would be gaining huge percentages of royalties from the sales as it's based on the world she created. So then there's arguments being made that you're a transphobe if you buy this game, since you'll be supporting Rowling and her ways, but personally, I think we're overreacting a little bit. Because if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, we should be able to see that we're massively picking and choosing where our morality begins and ends. Matthew Broderick, lead actor of the classic film Ferris Bueller's Day Off, once drunk drove on the wrong side of the road and killed 2 people. A horribly horrific crime, a crime that he was only fined £100 for with no jail time. Quite an ill turn of events from all angles. However, despite this, do we no longer watch that movie? Are people who enjoy that movie ridiculed? Well, no. But why is that? I'm not saying they should be, but it's interesting. When compared to the film product that JK helped create, their Harry Potter franchise, the blurred lines begin to form. Maybe it's because it's a much older event and film and the public conscious has awful long-term memory. Is it because of the size of each property? Ferris Bueller and Harry Potter, after all, are completely different sizes in terms of fan bases. Is it because Ferris Bueller is generally seen as cooler than Harry Potter and a classic? Say, you go to a friend's house and they have the bathrobe as a bit of memorabilia. You're far more likely to go, oh cool, that's the bathrobe from Ferris Bueller. Then if you saw, say, a wand from Harry Potter, you might shrug or say yikes. Maybe that goes into another point which I think is a big factor which is massively overlooked, which is people don't like Harry Potter fans as is. There's a huge stigma about being a Harry Potter fan these days that wasn't there before, so now not only do people get to call you weirdos and freaks for liking this franchise, they can also morally object to you because of one of the creators' politics, which I think is unfair. Because if we avoided every film or franchise that would directly or indirectly fund an awful person or person that has done awful things, we would limit ourselves tremendously. We'd all just be watching Adam Sandler movies and Robin Williams stand-up specials for the rest of time, which doesn't sound like a bad time, but it isn't ideal. But the idea that maybe this moral high ground simply exists to make yourselves better than somebody because they enjoy media you don't is worrying. Using somebody's real struggle like trans people as ammunition to morally project yourselves in front of others you dislike just because you think they're weird is ironically pretty immoral. I asked two of my trans friends what they think about the whole Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy J.K. Rowling thing, and both of them basically didn't care. Now that's not to say they speak for the trans community as a whole, but it's to say that if you aren't trans, you also don't speak for the trans community as a whole. Neither do I. You must take these things on an individual basis. Because I wonder, say, if Peter Jackson or George Lucas got exposed as huge Nazis or something, God forbid, would Lord of the Rings and Star Wars suffer the same fate? Because I honestly don't think they would. I think in those cases it would be separating the art from the artist. It would be that Star Wars is bigger than one person. Of course it's all hypotheticals, but I don't think those predictions are too far out. And I think that's because those franchises have a greater reception than Harry Potter, especially fan-wise. Now I know the Star Wars fanbase can get pretty toxic, but they are very, very big. Trying to cancel the Star Wars franchise just would not work. And the Lord of the Rings films, though, have a far less irritating fanbase, are universally adored, so I don't think people would just as easily let it go. It's easier to condemn a piece of art that you don't personally enjoy, is what I'm saying. But of course this kind of moral dilemma stretches past JK. It goes into, say, Bill Murray, who has recently been accused of sexually assaulting a woman on set, and his defense for it was that it was meant to be a joke, but taken the wrong way. More accusations are coming out about him spanning decades, even back when he had a famous fallout with Lucy Liu on the set of Charlie's Angels for being inappropriate. But I haven't seen any campaigns at all to boycott anything he has ever made. Nobody is made to feel shame when they watch Ghostbusters or literally any Wes Anderson film. Is it because we like Bill Murray? I think it is. When you like a celebrity or their work, their behaviour and their antics are tolerated a lot more. Chris Pratt attends an anti-LGBTQ+ church group with anti-abortion views, and I know the next Guardians of the Galaxy is still going to top the box office and nobody will care. Because who's to say when they should or shouldn't? Knowing when to draw the line between art and artist is difficult. Woody Allen has made some of the most timeless movies, but in real life he's basically a monster. But people still watch his films. Hitchcock has been accused of being sexually abusive and blackballed people for not sleeping with him, and yet people study his films in film classes across the globe. So what I'm saying is, I don't know what's right and what isn't in any of these situations. It's all very morally and ethically grey. But I do think it's unfair to label people morally barren for supporting the media they enjoy because of some of the people behind it. Because chances are you love something somebody evil has helped make. We're all just trying to do the best we can, so I'm not trying to preach or attack anybody, it's just something to think about. It's a topic that stretches outside film and into basically every art form medium, even more so outside film, being honest. So what are your thoughts on the topic? It's incredibly nuanced, so let me know. I'd love some non-judgmental conversations on it. What did you think of the video? And as always, with the best moral compass you can, keep watching movies.